Hello, this is Jim Lutz with Quanta, and welcome to the Achievers Club Black Belt Mind Training. This is where you will receive training on how to operate your human mind at a level that very few people in the world are even aware of and certainly do not know how to do. The training in Black Belt Mind Training is the exact training that I charge tens of thousands of dollars for, as does Jim Britt. It will teach you the power of letting go as it applies not only to yourself, but how to interact with other people, pulling those triggers when it's in everybody's best interest. I'm going to be teaching Ericksonian hypnosis, which is conversational hypnosis. I'll be teaching linguistic patterns that can be applied to not only your print media and not only your videos, but also in real life interaction with other people. I'll be teaching something called psychosomatic parenthetics, which is a world-class communication strategy containing things called phonological ambiguities and presupposition training. I'm also going to be teaching you neuro-linguistic programming at a very high level. Being competent at neuro-linguistic programming, NLP if you will, alone is very, very expensive. So as you can see, Quanta's Achievers Club will bring you a myriad of topics as well as huge value that, simply put, you can't get anywhere else. So let's get started. Let's start this Black Belt Mind Training with neuro-linguistic programming and how it works in regards to rapport building. You know, neuro-linguistics has multiple facets to it. Things called metaprograms, things called submodalities, rewiring the brain, swish patterns, lots of different patterns and strategies that I'm going to be teaching you in the Black Belt Mind Training modules. Today we're going to focus on the rapport building aspect of neuro-linguistic programming. From this point forward, I'll call it NLP. Very common name. NLP has the ability to create rapport very quickly with an individual using certain strategies. And again, like I said, has the ability in a more advanced capacity to rewire the human brain, to use something called submodalities and metaprograms. The map is not the territory. We're going to get into that, and you're going to find it very enlightening, very empowering, and very effective as well. So when you're using NLP as rapport building, think of what neuro-linguistic programming means. Neuro means mind. So we're incorporating the human mind, not only your own, but also the person you're building rapport with. Linguistics means language, communication. We communicate in language. So it's the words you're using, the linguistics you're using, the semantics that you're using. And programming, meaning rewiring the human brain. Now I combine that with very high-level hypnosis, almost like an accelerator, almost like neuro-linguistic programming on steroids, if you will. So neuro-linguistic programming, when it applies to rapport, is the ability to create and move a level of rapport very quickly. So I'm going to start on a topic called pacing and leading, mirroring and matching. So let's start with mirroring and matching. Mirroring and matching is something that the recipient, meaning the person you're communicating with, on an unconscious level will feel a draw to you. Like attracts like. They like people that are just like themselves. And the ability to mirror and match will create that fundamental rapport. And here's how it works. When you're sitting and speaking to somebody, mirroring is not mimicking. It's very important you understand the difference. This will take you some practice, but as you practice it, it will become the same as driving a car with a stick shift. At first, you must think about the gas, the clutch, the brake, the shift. Pretty soon, you can be thinking about the concert tonight, and you do that on autopilot. This is the same way. As you study neurolinguistics with me, you will be able to move to a level of proficiency that it's just natural that you can turn on and off. So mirroring and matching is to get the person on a subconscious, unconscious level to like you. But they don't even know why they like you. And here's how it works. As you're sitting with somebody, I want you to become very aware of their posture first. And I want you to mirror it. Meaning that if they're sitting a little bit back, I want you to sit a little bit back. Now, it takes a while, so you're not obviously mimicking what they're doing. Make sure you're not looking at them and analyzing them and then doing that, or they're going to know that you're up to something. So when you're mirroring, it's very subtle. So we're going to start with posture. If they're sitting a little bit back, you sit a little bit back. If they're sitting upright, you sit a little bit upright. Okay, now you're mirroring their posture. Okay? Next thing I want you to do is become aware of their breathing. Do they breathe at this pace? Or do they breathe much faster? And I want you to become aware of their breathing. Breathing is one of the most powerful interchanges in mirroring that you can do. So just watch how they breathe, and then without being obvious, begin to breathe in the same pace and the same rhythm that they breathe in. Okay? So watch their posture, match that, mirror that, and then mirror and match their breathing rhythm and pattern. And just start with that. Start with that and begin to become accustomed to doing that. Okay. The next thing when you're building rapport using NLP is you're going to look at voice tonality. If that individual speaks in a rapid fashion, without changing your personality, just up your rhythm a little bit. You want to retain your authenticity of who you are and not become somebody else and not become too obvious, but you want to just up it a little bit closer to the rhythm and tonality that they speak with. Let me give you a couple examples. One person may speak like, "It's very nice to see you, Debbie. Thank you for coming by the restaurant and meeting me concerning this real estate acquisition. It's really a pleasure to meet you." That is a cadence that is called low-key cadence. Somebody else, a little more type A, might communicate in a more rapid fire. "Well, hey, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for coming by. My name's Jeff, and it's great to be here." That's rapid fire. Okay? Remember, your objective here is to not judge how they communicate. Your objective is to build rapport using NLP. So up your cadence of communication and tonality to match theirs as close as you can without not being there. You may speak the same way, so you'd already be closer. Or tone it down into a more rhythmic cadence if they speak slower than you do. All right? So now we've got what? We've got our posture mirroring. We have our breathing, mirroring and matching. And we have our voice tonality, raising or lowering cadence and tone to mirror and match. Two of those are very unconscious responses, the posture and the breathing. You see, their mind unconsciously is a radar system. While they're consciously thinking about what they want to talk to you about, unconsciously they're sensing, this person is just like me. This person is just like me. They're not different than me. As a matter of fact, there's no what I call a cognizant or a cognitive impasse occurring, to where there's this abrupt barrier to where they sense, I don't like this person. They're not like me. Right? That's unconsciously building rapport through mirroring and matching, starting with posture, moving to breathing rhythm, and then voice tonality and cadence of voice. Now you've got the basics for NLP rapport in place. Now we're going to move a little bit more to an intermediate mirror and match. I now want you to mirror and match their hand gestures and their leg movements. If you're sitting in an area to where you can see that their legs are crossed, then if it's appropriate, cross your legs. Sit like they're sitting. Now it's very important, again, don't allow them to see you monitoring what they're doing and make it obvious. This is something that you're going to need to practice a little bit and not take a mental snapshot of the individual and start to coordinate and architect being like them. They're going to notice you doing that. This is very covert, all right, if you will. So I want you to match not only the way they're sitting, but I want you to match how their legs are. If they're sitting with their feet on the floor, sit with your feet on the floor if it's appropriate. If they have their legs crossed, cross your leg if it's appropriate. And it's important you do not do all this at once. Take a few minutes and integrate each mirroring and matching component over a period of 10 minutes or so. Don't immediately transform into a version of them. So now that you have the leg, the posture, and then the legs, The next step up from that is mirroring and matching their hand gestures. This is one of the coolest NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, mirroring and matching components you can do. Let's say that you're sitting there and you see that individual brush their hair back. Do not immediately reach up and brush your hair back. That's called mimicking. And mimicking is not a pleasurable thing. It can be offensive to people. So what I want you to do is if you see them brush their hair back, I want you to wait about 3 to 6 seconds. And I simply want you to scratch your neck, not mimic the exact behavior, you're mimicking the movement, okay? I want you to adjust your sunglasses if they're on your head. I want you to pull your collar up a little bit. I want you to mirror and match a behavior that mirror and matches the hand gesture closely. It doesn't need to mimic it. It just needs to be the same movement 3 to 6 seconds later, okay? Now, let's say that the individual took a drink of their water and you were at lunch together. Do not immediately grab your glass of water and drink it. I want you to use the 3 to 6 second window, even 10 seconds, and continue the conversation. It's important your mind doesn't go into the study of NLP when you're there. This will take some practice, but they're going to see you focusing on something else which would disconnect the conversational rapport. So 3 to 6 seconds later, I want you to simply, while you're talking, pick up your glass of water and take a sip. So the scenario would be like this. Really, I see. So you're looking at purchasing that apartment building in San Diego over by the beach, correct? Yes, I am. Great. They take a drink of their water. 2, 3, 4. That would be a great investment. I take a drink of my water. While you're utilizing the mirroring and matching, make sure that you do not disconnect from the conversation at hand. So again, a lot of my students will end up getting so focused on these new skills that they've completely disengaged from the actual core conversation while they're there. So it takes a little bit of practice, like I said, to sync it up, like driving a stick shift car, but you'll get there. You'll absolutely get there and become very proficient at this. So now you have the mirroring and matching. So again, we've gone over the initial posture. Very easy to mirror upon sitting down, whether you show up first or show up second. Now we've gone over the breathing. The in and out breathing, matching the cadence and the breath pattern that they have. We've gone over voice tonality, upping your cadence and tone or lowering it down, not becoming somebody you're not sacrificing your own authenticity and becoming a robot. And then we're moving toward mirroring and matching the legs, the way they're sitting, if their feet are crossed, if their feet are flat on the floor, if it's appropriate, mirror and match that. Again, you're going to mirror and match as many of these components as possible. They're options. But the more you do, the more effective the rapport unconsciously will be with the other person. Now we're moving to hand gestures, right? They brush their hair. You've got the 3 to 6 second window that you have. Then all you need to do is adjust your collar, move your sunglasses, scratch your neck, whatever that is, a similar gesture, similar movement. And now we move to a more pronounced movement, which would be picking up the glass of water, etc. Again, keeping the conversation flowing, not stopping to where the other individual can see you doing something else. Now, once you utilize all of these together, then the next step is to become congruent with all of the components all at once. Let them flow. Once you're congruent with all of them and utilizing them simultaneously, you are now pacing that person. We're going to get into pacing and leading. You're pacing that person in multiple facets. Here's what's happening unconsciously in their mind. Their mind is taking in this information on an unconscious level. Consciously, they're engaged in the real estate conversation. Unconsciously, their mind is bonding. Their mind is saying, he or she is just like me. I like this person. I'm building rapport. There's something about this person. They're like me. Even though they may never have met you before, they are feeling that you are like them because you're mirroring and matching. Now, here's pacing and leading. This is the next level up. Once you're pacing somebody with all of these components, what's going to happen is allow this to occur, depending on the time frame, for 10 minutes. and allow yourself, this is where you're actually practicing and getting better. So 10, 15, 20 minutes, just allow the mirroring and matching to occur. Again, all this together is known as pacing. Now we're going to move into the next level called leading. So you've got mirroring, matching, pacing, leading. Here's leading. Leading is where they are in such a heightened state of rapport with you that they now become unconsciously like you. The exact opposite of you initiating this rapport with neurolinguistics of being like them, they now unconsciously want to be like you. And it's a real cool thing, and you guys will all master it if you practice it. Once you have established congruency in pacing, leading is simply, I'm going to now move my fork over here to the other side of my plate. And the way you've established leading is you will see them within 3 to 10 seconds move their fork or their spoon or their napkin from one side to the other, unconsciously now mirroring and matching your behavior. How cool is that? So now you're leading. Now you know that once you're able to lead, you now have a very embedded state of neurolinguistic rapport. Huge accomplishment. It will take you a while to get to that. When you first start out, start with the basics, get those down, and then eventually when you're able to lead, you are in a very heightened state of rapport. At that point, you can begin to utilize subconscious influence strategies, persuasion strategies, presuppositions, phonological ambiguities, some of the semantics and linguistics I'm going to be covering in further black belt mind training. But for this one here, we want you to focus on exactly these fundamentals of NLP as they apply to human rapport interaction. So let's just recap real quick, and I'm going to do it a lot faster now. So you have a meeting with somebody, so you sit down, you're sitting across from them. I want you to mirror their posturing. You're going to mirror and match their breathing. You're going to notice their voice tonality and up your cadence or lower your cadence without sacrificing your authenticity and who you are. You're now going to notice what? How their legs are. Are their feet flat on the floor? Are they crossed? If appropriate, mirror and match the way that their legs are. We're now going to move toward what? Hand gestures, mannerisms. If they brush their hair, you move your collar, you scratch your neck. If they scratch their shoulder, 3 to 6 second window, you make a new gesture, rub off your sleeve, whatever that mirror match is, without, again, mimicking what they're doing. Now we move to more pronounced hand gestures, moving the fork, wiping their mouth with the napkin, picking up their glass of water, answering their phone. And we begin to now move toward a synchronicity of rapport with mirroring and matching. Allow that to continue 10, 15, even 20 minutes. This is you practicing what you're doing as you become more proficient at the mirroring and matching and the fundamental rapport components of neurolinguistics. Now, I want you to move toward pacing and leading. All of this together will be you pacing that individual. Watch as you're pacing and get very, very smooth at it. Give yourself time. You will not master this in 3 or 4 days. Start to pace and lead. Now we're going to get into what? The leading component. That is the cool part. And again, that's where you will now make a gesture and then watch very closely within 3 to 10, 15 seconds. They will now begin to make a similar mannerism or movement. And now you know you have complete embedded rapport. At that point, again, you can insert persuasion strategies, whatever it is that you want to do that we will teach you on further modules of black belt mind training. But for rapport, that's what I want you to understand. I want you to work on this. And another way you can do it is many people that are in the public eye have learned these strategies from either myself or from other people that teach neurolinguistics. Next time you're watching an interaction on TV between a competent host, a politician, watch. They will start incorporating some of these during their interview. Either the interviewer to build rapport with the politician or the politician to build rapport, vice versa. Sometimes you can even see both of them engaging in these unconscious mannerisms to build rapport. Very effective, highly profitable if you're in business, and highly rewarding in any relationship to where the objective is to get the person to feel unconsciously that he or she is just like me, we like each other, we're just alike, and that sets the groundwork for a further relationship, for further communication, and a win-win outcome. You know, as Quanta's programs continue to be delivered worldwide digitally, and Quanta as a company continues to grow, it's very rewarding to see people apply these strategies, tactics, and methodologies. And again, Black Belt Mind Training will be giving you strategies and tactics that are going to really quantum leap, if you will, you to new levels in all areas. As we teach you self-reprogramming, we're going to be teaching you the power of letting go and all of the other modalities that Jim Britt has taught students and how to apply them. So what I want to make sure that you understand as a student of Achievers Club and part of Quanta, that we are, if you would allow us to be your mentors. And we're going to mentor you at a level that very few people have access to. This information is out there, yet from a practical application standpoint, we have maneuvered it and refined it through experiential situations with our students. As you see yourself begin to understand and assimilate and apply the information in Black Belt Mind Training, you'll automatically, within a first month, be in the top 10% worldwide of people that have acquired this knowledge. And you've heard me say this. If you've ever seen me speak live, you know that I'm big on assimilating and applying the information. I want to make sure that you understand that you're your own best project. I'm my own best project. So allow yourself the time to learn something new, whether it's the guitar, whether it's the piano, salsa dancing, karate, tending bar, running a Starbucks. Everything has a learning curve. And in today's society of immediate gratification, we always want to hurry things up. I will tell you that what you're learning in Achievers Club, specifically Black Belt Mind Training, will change everything for you. And we're proud to bring you that information and strategies to become your mentors, to allow you to acquire it at a fraction of the cost that you would pay in a seminar or as a private student, all part of Quanta as we deliver it around the world in over 175 countries. Thanks again for allowing us to mentor you. We'll see you at the top. We'll see your mind sharp and developed. We'll see you become a new you, the best version of you. Thanks again for joining us.